Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. I have Dr. Jenelle Kim, founder and lead formulator with Craig Nandu, president at JBK Wellness Labs. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
I'm glad you're here. All right, Dr. Kim, you're the founder and first ever CBD infused skincare line, as well as a mother, thought leader, and a speaker. What inspired you to create the first ever CBD skincare line?
What inspired me? You know, I am a very inspired person, but specifically for what inspired me to do this, if I may backtrack a little bit of how I even got into this industry before it really even became an industry, right? So this was back in 2012, which for those of you who may know the CBD industry is light years. And so my background, I'm a doctor of traditional Oriental medicine or Chinese medicine. I have a lineage of formulations, herbal formulations that come from Korea, ultimately. So that's the greatest thing I have to share. And so what all of this means is that I am very familiar. In fact, I was born into herbal medicine and the understanding of the human condition according to East Asian medicine, which applies to all, and specifically herbal ingredients. And so to me, hemp, from the moment before even the CBD industry started, hemp is a very well-known herb. And that's kind of something that I have now become very, I'm very well known in the industry for basically keeping on with this understanding that hemp goes back about 4,000 years, even though to some it seems like this brand new exciting thing, which it is. And so having said that, I understand hemp as an herbal ingredient dating back in Chinese medicine to 4,000 years ago, right? Which is a little different than what we hear nowadays. So it's having said that, the interesting part of all of this is that in 2012, when we were approached basically by some of the pioneers of the CBD industry as we know them today, they came to us. Actually, Craig called me because he was the first to meet them. Craig called me on the phone and said, Jenelle, someone came into our lab and they want us to work with CBD. Now, the funny part of this story is I heard Craig in the midst of doing all of the things that you just mentioned, and I hung up the phone. I said, no, not right now. Thank you very much. And he said, okay, right. Seems kind of not exactly what you expected to hear, right? So that was the first time that this situation occurred. That's what happened. And so ultimately, so why did I do that? You know, as much as I know that hemp is an herbal ingredient, and now I have basically made it part of my mission in teaching herbal medicine, I've also made it part of my mission to take away the uncertainty of hemp. Okay. But at the time, when I heard CBD, I knew it was something new and I didn't know what came with all of that. And I have kids, I grew up in somewhat of a, not conservative, but a traditional kind of a community. And then Craig called me again, said, Jenelle, check this out. I saw what CBD was doing for children. And I said, all right, let's do it. You know what? I'm breaking down the barriers for herbal medicine, so we'll just add hemp along with it.
And for us, I think it's important to note, just specifically your question is that we contract manufacture. So we manufacture different products for different companies. And one of the first companies in this industry, again, as Jenelle said before, it was an industry, came to us. They knew that we had something special. They wanted to pair CBD with some of the things that we were doing. And we were the first ones to basically create a luxury line with CBD in it with this partner of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so walk me through the products that you're creating. But before we do that, was it the fact that CBD was now being used to help children? Was that your pivot point, or was there something deeper that made you say from absolutely no, hang the phone up, to wait a minute, we need to work on this?
Right. What sparked my interest with CBD in particular was the fact that I had a moment to sit down and see what it was doing specifically for children. Why that's important is that prior to that, I didn't know what the purpose of them using CBD was. Do you see what I'm saying? So also, as I mentioned, a little step deeper or step before that is the fact that I know hemp to be a very powerful ingredient, and I know what it does for the human condition. So as soon as I saw that it was being used in what we would be formulating are products that truly helped the human condition, then I agreed to it, of course. Yeah.
Okay, tell me about the products.
So these particular products that you speak of, the first ever luxury skincare collection is called Cannabis Beauty. Mm-hmm. And the amazing thing is it uses the properties of hemp and CBD. but also it's combined with what we call Bi-Bong herbal formulas, which are secret herbal formulas. And it sounds very, mysterious, but in fact, in East Asia, why are they secret formulas? Firstly, they just have been passed down in my lineage for many generations, so it's maintained and preserved simply within my lineage. But also, why are they so secret? It's because they work so wonderfully. And so, in short, when you combine CBD with some of our herbal formulas, they become very functional, and CBD becomes that much more bioavailable. So they just are some of the most effective products that you'll come across.
Well, so is this preventative medicine? Is this something that cures something? I mean, break that down for me, because
Sure.
we're at a very high level, and somebody's going to want to know, how does it help me?
Of course. So these formulas do both. That's the truth. Ultimately, what Eastern medicine is known for is the making sure that the preventative aspect of it. But one thing we have to understand is that when you take herbal medicine, both internally and topically, and you incorporate it into your daily regimen, ultimately you're keeping your body functioning all the time properly. And that's the key to longevity, health, wellness, beauty. I say that often. People look for that fountain of youth. And truly this, in some sense, is because once you have the key to making sure that everything functions properly, in the case of your skin is that all your skin cells function properly. In the case of your organ systems is that each organ system functions properly. And so these herbal formulas dating back, many generations, that's exactly what they do. And people feel the difference for themselves immediately. I always say, it doesn't matter what I say, try it for yourself and you'll see. And that has definitely caught on.
So
I'll say, if it's all right, Michael, I'll say on top of that, we're talking about skincare, but also on the internal side, it is very much preventative, but there's also a lot of things that we do as a lab that are very unique in terms of our formulations that we have through Jenelle's lineage, where we can take CBD and make it more functional, right? So if you just take CBD for your health and wellness, it can be great, but we're also able to pair that with botanicals, other bridge ingredients, so that now you have a CBD product that will help you get a restful sleep, a CBD product that may give you energy. And so that's how we can take the CBD and target it specifically to what people might be looking for.
Right, I'm aware of CBD being able to alleviate pain and help in glaucoma and things of that nature, but we're talking about skincare here. So is this like something that cures acne, something that cures enzymia? I mean, tell me about the application. Topical? Is it injected? Do you take a pill? How does this work?
Sure. For the skincare line that we're speaking of, everything is topical. Although the truth is the entire regimen, which is what Cannabis Beauty does, is it also includes some internal and herbal soaks. And so the interesting part of all of this is that, as Craig mentioned, you take hemp and CBD, which ultimately, one of the reasons this herb has been well known for so many thousands of years in Eastern medicine, and it was known to be one of the 50 fundamental herbs, which was first noted by basically one of the first herbologists in Eastern medicine in 2737 BC. And so why is it so well known? And it does answer your question, that this herb in and of itself has properties to nourish, but also purify or detoxify. And that's a really amazing thing that can do both. Because for the human condition, the most important thing is, of course, to nourish and supplement your body. So if you're a car, you have all the gas to keep moving. But you also need to detoxify and purify. It's like those two things equal proper health for your skin or for your internal system. And so with Cannabis Beauty, the amazing thing that we did is that we really, and pretty much with any, collection that we create for our clients, is that we always recommend and we always produce products that basically are able to do both from the inside out. So you have your topical skincare products with the herbal ingredients, like Craig said, you can make it whether it's for a cleansing cream to cleanse and purify your skins. We put specific herbal ingredients in there to do so. If it's for, the anti-aging aspects through the serums and the moisturizers, again, specific herbal formulas combined with that hemp to do that. And then you combine that with some of your internal formulations so that everything inside works properly too. And it's always that understanding of those two principles, nourishing and detoxifying. Now, hemp in general, like I said, is known to have both the supplementing and the detoxifying nature. And so specifically for hemp and skin, it's very well known, as you said, for as an anti-inflammatory, incredible antioxidant, which is very important in fighting all of the things that we have to deal with in our world around us on a daily basis, and very calming to the skin. So very important thing is to beautify yourself.
Okay, so I'm getting from you is that this is something that if used properly and developed carefully, really can really take the place of older people going to plastic surgeons because their skin is healthier, more resilient, and younger people have less problems to go to the doctors with because of being able to use the formulas that you have in their daily care. Am I getting that correctly?
You're absolutely right, Michael. And that goes back to your original question, which is it is very much for preventative. To me, preventative kind of encompasses everything if you do it correctly. Meaning if you do truly, number one, you're aware of your body and how it works, which is something I really wish to empower people on a daily basis to do. And if that's through Eastern medicine, which is where I found it, then wonderful, and so be it. Let's do it. So that preventative, being aware of your body, and hopefully from that, you're able to catch things before they even occur. But certainly herbal medicine is known to also be able to balance conditions that you already have. So it really includes both.
All right. Give me an idea, because this is a business show too. We don't just talk about your product. Give me an idea what you're doing with the company, where you're taking it, the scope of market penetration, what you're doing with your company now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, so, we started out, prior to the CBD and hemp industry, we've been established for about 15 years in the skincare and supplement industry. But CBD has really taken on a life of its own. When we started, it was very much still kind of a taboo subject. And we've started to, over the years, build really an understanding of that herb. And now, the Farm Bill passed the Senate yesterday. And what that does, it legalizes hemp at a federal level, which means that all of these players are going to start to get involved. We're talking Walmart, we're talking Albertsons, Safeway, and it's huge. And so we're really well positioned for that. We've really structured our growth around that. But for us, we've gone from our facility in San Diego and one up in Orange County, where we run our dietary supplements and pharma through, and we've increased our investments on that side. And we've also just invested in Europe in some manufacturing because that is a huge growth market as well. And so we're one of the first to be entrenched in that market and starting to grow along with some of our clients on that side. And so we see this as going truly worldwide. I think the U.S. is going to be the first shoe to drop, and then all the markets across the world, the major markets, are really going to start to look at this incredible plant, see the benefits, and the people are going to be calling for it, especially after what's happening now in the U.S.
So I'm going to start seeing your products in Target, Walmart, CVS.
Yes. In fact, Costco. You probably already are.
Yeah, you
That's
very
the
well
truth.
might.
Yes.
And again, we're the manufacturer behind a lot of these brands.
Right.
And so you may not see our brand specifically,
right.
but a lot of the products that you see with CBD in them may very well have generated from our lab. As far as we're concerned, we're the first, one of the first, if not the first, lab to follow GMP, which is good manufacturing practice principles, in this space. We continue to seek to be the leader in this space in terms of size and scope. And so a lot of the products that you will see on those shelves in the big box stores will have originated from us. And you'll see what we create. There's a lot of our botanical expertise in there, and you might know that it came from JBK Wellness Labs.
Good. You have 8 keys that you live by. Can you tell our audience about those?
Yes. So obviously that could be a long story, but in short, these keys in Eastern medicine, they're also one step backwards. It comes Eastern philosophy. And that is the understanding. And that is something I've grown up with since the day I was born, really. I did not always think I was going to head in this direction. Interestingly, Michael, there was a time in my life I really thought I was going towards Western medicine. I was very interested in that. And lo and behold, there was a moment in my life I realized, there's something really special here, and it really touched my heart. And I just kind of went with it. And that's when my life started to unfold. And so a huge part of it, a lot of people will see, especially in this part of what we do, is the medicinal aspect of it, which is so important, much more important than someone's health. But a step out from that even is the Eastern philosophy. And the Eastern philosophy that I was taught by my mentor, one of the main things I can say about it is it takes some of those principles out there, that we hear often and we all wish to incorporate into our daily life. And the thing that my mentor and the 8 keys that I wish to share with the world, what they really do is they really help to take those principles that sometimes seem beautiful and, ideal, but really makes them tangible and able to apply to your reality in your daily life so that you can live the most balanced life possible, the happiest life possible.
So, like, 1, know your true self. 2, make correct daily choices.
Yes.
3?
Right. So all of these types of principles, basically, they're things that you wake up in the morning and you think about constantly. People speak of meditation a lot. You see it more and more. And so, of course, I'm all about meditation. But one of the things that we have to understand that I practice also myself on a daily basis is that it's difficult sometimes to find a moment to be able to sit down, even for 15 minutes, let's face it, and have a quiet moment and really think. So what's the purpose of doing that, right? The purpose of doing that is having a moment to center ourselves, to reflect. Ultimately, it's a very active type of a lifestyle. And so it doesn't, sometimes even if you don't have the time to do that, or maybe more importantly, if I may say so, it's doing that in every moment of your life. My mentor always taught me, you had to learn to walk at one point, but now after this many years of walking, you don't wake up in the morning and try to have to think about, okay, I have to put this foot, and that's a habit. And so the whole point through these 8 principles is creating good habits for yourself. So in the beginning, you think through these things a lot. Some people will say, oh, Jenelle, this month I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to do this. And I say, you know what? Don't do that. In this next moment, picture not doing that or doing that. And so each one of these 8 principles basically helps you to think about them as you go about your daily life and apply them and reflect in that moment and to balance with what's going on in your circumstance. And so that's one of the main points.
I got it.
Yes.
Make correct daily choices. A lot of people don't do that, and I wanted to just let you bring that out. How is it that you found a simple methodology to make the correct daily choices?
Yes. I know, and that is probably one of the most deep of the principles that my mentor teaches, something that truly I believe that to the day I'm on this earth, or the day I leave this earth, I will still be thinking about that. There's not one way, and that's the really interesting part. So how do you make a correct daily choice? It's a triangle, and it's a true, right, and correct is what my mentor taught. And what that means is there's times in life that you have the truth. And then there's times in life that you have to make the right decision. But when you come to what is correct, you have to look at all of what comes with that. So meaning if you're a parent, right, and you love your child and they do something wrong, the truth in that moment is I love my child so much. And so I don't really want to get mad at them. So the true in that situation might be that you don't get upset at them, right? I do this all the time in the midst of balancing my work life and my children. Then you have the right decision. So what's right in that moment? The right decision might be that I'm out and about, right? Or I'm on a call and they're trying to interrupt me in the moment and they're not supposed to be doing that. Okay, so the right decision in that moment would be to stop everything and go and discipline them, let's say. But given my circumstance, given the truth of what I'm looking for, I have to combine those two to come to what is correct. So it sounds like a lot, and it is, to be honest. It's constantly a process. But it's looking at, ultimately what that means is you take a step back and you look at your situation at hand. The only constant, we hear this often, is change in our life. And I think one of the most important things, especially in this day and age where life has many beautiful opportunities and beautiful things, but it can be challenging a lot of times. And so the best way to go about that is to really be flexible. That's the most important thing. And that's also what this has to do with. So not be so rigid in life, because if you're so rigid, you break, right? So it's looking at ultimately it's looking at the whole situation and coming up with the best decision for everyone involved. And that is what that means.
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate both of you coming on to the show. I hope to have you back so that we can drill down more into some of the products that you're going to be releasing.
We would love that.
And working through so that the rest of us can get the benefit of what you're creating there and what you're bringing back from ancient times.
Yes, thank you so much, Michael. We really appreciate the opportunity, and we certainly would love to come back to share more.
My pleasure. You've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.